Have you ever wondered what is inside of the crystal? Now you know. The soundboard from a World Cup, and I have installed a cap kit. Not too hard to do, but a little dicey sometimes since the PCB isn't marked consistently. And I have also replaced all the .156 headers, and we are going to test it now. So I've got my little homemade tester doodad here, and let's go through all the sounds. So those are all the sounds of World Cup. Now I'm going to move my little tester doodad, and I'll be right back. And here to test the MPU and the driver board. Driver board, I've added a blanking indication. When the LED lights up, that means blanking is on and everything is good. I've replaced all 12 male headers all the way around the board, and I have replaced the 40-pin female header on top of the board. Now the client replaced the male headers, and you can see some male headers are missing. I don't know why anybody would do that. Maybe the client didn't do that. Maybe somebody before him did. Those missing headers don't carry any signal, so they're okay. They're good, long, Great Plains Electronics headers, so I'm going to leave that like it is. On the MPU board, board came utilizing these two socket locations. I always change those two. I get rid of those two and I create an IC14. World Cup is a little weird in that one of the ROM images was corrupt a while back and it didn't actually work, but I have the correct images in there right now. There was a AMI 5101 in there, got rid of that because those things are prone to failure. Replaced the filter cap, replaced all the headers on this side of the board also. Had a dead 74154, so I've replaced that. Had a dead 8T28 line driver, so I replaced that also. And of course, new sockets here. I have installed a super cap to back up the memory, and I documented this in the pin wiki where you replace a diode with a 100 ohm resistor at this location, connect your super cap, and then the other side of the super cap goes out to the ground plane of the board. This one was in particular a booger because the ROM images that came with it were corrupt. This line driver was dead. This 154 was dead. And then the last thing I found, it was booting intermittently. The crystal was dead also. And I'm going to upload a picture of the guts of the crystal to the pin wiki, but it was inoperative all the time. So I'd boot. Sometimes it'd boot, sometimes not. I do not know why a crystal would ever die. It's just a hunk of quartz. So let's boot it. I'm going to show you the LED activity upon boot. And that's normal. Our displays have come up. And it's cycling between a default high score to date of 350,000 and 0. Now to get into test for a System 3 board, you press this button. So I'm going to press it now. And the displays go out. And then you can start using the coin door diagnostic switches. So I want to put it into auto manual up position and make sure that the display drivers are working correctly. And they are. And the next test is lamp test. And this is my Siegecraft tester. Until I lash up my Victor boards for 3 through 7, I'm going to keep using that. Solenoid test, you'll see one solenoid is turned on up there in the upper right. That is the coin lockout solenoid, and that will turn off once the test comes around to that location. System 3 coil test is hideously slow. The blue and the green LEDs on there for System 11 and Data East MPUs that I used to use this tester for. Okay, here's the coin lockout. Goes off. Now we're into the special solenoids, and there are 6 of them. I have moved my combination special solenoid and sound test doodad board so that now I can drive those special solenoids by pressing these rightmost switches on this board. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All special solenoids being driven correctly. And the next test is test 3, which is switch test. And let me get my Pennytech switch tester back up on board here. And I'm going to go down column 1. World Cup only uses and reports 40 switches. And here I'm on row 1. And 33 is the last switch on row 1. And there's switch 40. So that covers switches, coils, lamps, and the built-in test, I guess. So she's good to go. Now it's cycling. Oh, I've got the auto up thing going on here. That may be the sound. No, it's not the sound test. I don't know what that is. Anyway, I'm gonna power off and then power on and show you what the displays look like when they come up. And that is perfect. So we've tested sound, we've tested the MPU, we've tested the driver board. The only thing left is the power supply. What I call the tag of quality tied to the power supply. And here is the power supply. I replaced the big filter cap. I like to use these radial caps instead of the axial caps that used to be on here. The axial caps are hard to find, especially since Great Plains Electronics closed. I installed a complete fuse set for the client. He had asked me to do that, and I marked the board with the fuse number and the value of the fuse. Replaced all the headers once again, and let's test it. I have my meter set to DC volts. Let's see if we can get that in there. And I'm going to test. I have these headers installed so I don't short between pins and ruin all my fine work. So, all right, this should be the negative 100 or so. That is correct. Positive 100 or so. That is correct. 12, then 5. Over here somewhere we've got the 20 volt coil voltage. So all voltages are present, and this power supply is good to go. Thank you so much.